Good evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Want to welcome you guys here. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or yes there. Just let me know that it is indeed working. Hope everybody's had a fantastic evening so far. Looking forward to this webinar today. I've had a few technical issues with some stuff. I'm working through a new computer and stuff like that right now. And so um, anyways, so if you guys can hear me, that is a huge blessing. And if you can see my screen, that's awesome too. So, yeah, just been a challenging day that way, but hopefully we can get through the webinar and do some good stuff here. I've been really excited to do this. As you guys know, I've been working on my overnight trading bot, which has been great. I've got a MyFX book that we're tracking that on right now, which is super great. We also built the overnight trading bot technically for the Tokyo session and for the New York session too, which is super awesome. So a lot of really cool things. And I want to show you guys how easy it is for you to build your own bots with ChatGPT, with the technology that we have now. There's really no reason for you to not be successful. You can definitely be successful in the markets through your own merit, which is super awesome. You just got to have the right recipe. So I want to make sure that you guys are on good footing and know how to do that. So that's what we're going to accomplish today. But like I said, I just want to welcome everybody here. I want to give a shout out to everybody live. Thank you for taking the time to come here impromptu. If you were just invited today to come here, thank you for coming. Also, want to give a shout out to those of you watching this in the recording on the website and those watching this through YouTube. Want to say hello to you guys as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Before we get started, as always, I just have to remind everybody about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this. So the title of this webinar is how to build a ChatGPT trading bot, and that's what we're going to do today. First of all, I'm just going to show you how easy it is. Okay, so in order to trade a trading bot, you're going to need a couple of softwares, right? You're going to need an MT4 platform, which I've got pulled up right here. So I've just got an account that we're going to use tonight to run a robot through. You can't run this through like DX Trade. You wouldn't be able to run this through Trade Locker or Match Trader, or you might be able to, but you'd have to program it differently. And right now, I'm only familiar with how to do this in the MT4 platform. So if you want a trading bot to be able to trade on Trade Locker or Match Trader, the way you would do that, at least the way I know how to do that, is you would basically build a bot out for the MT4 platform here, and then you would connect a copy trader probably through Copygram or some other uh, service like that, like Social Trader Tools, and then you would connect then you would basically connect your MT4 to Trade Locker or Match Trader so that you could still get the benefits of your robot over there, right? So this is basically the traditional place where people build out trading softwares, algorithms, and things like that. And it's to this day, this is what I know to be the easiest way to do it is through MT4 MetaQuotes, right? So you need a MetaQuotes platform. You're going to need a brokerage that has this. So I use a Wanda. You can use any other that you might have. That's fine, because you're going to need access to the meta editor. And then you're also going to need access to other things like an AI. So I have I pay for a subscription with ChatGPT, and so you don't have to pay for one. It's just nice because one of the things that you're going to learn tonight is when you work with the AI to build out a trading bot, a lot of the times you're not going to get your trading bot exactly the way you want it on the first try. And so you're going to have to go back and forth with the AI and learn how to communicate with an AI to build out a trading robot. Okay, so it's not as simple. I mean, you can just you can literally just ask an AI to spit out a code for you. It may or may not work. Most likely, you're going to have to run many different variations through the AI to get what you're looking for. So that's why I like to have a premium membership with an AI that you like to use so that you can have the full benefits of communicating back and forth and working with it nonstop because you are going to be working with it nonstop. One of the nice things about the AI that I've kind of learned is it's kind of like having a software developer who's like the best, like has tons of PhDs, has been in the work experience for like 20, 30 years, 40 years, and they're like available all day long. Like you can call them at 3 in the morning and they're available. It's it's super nice. It's kind of a crazy world that we live in when you really think about it. So that's what I've got is ChatGPT, and anybody can open up a ChatGPT account for free. It's just nice to have their premium membership. I think they even offer one of their memberships is free for like 30 days, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so you're going to need that, and that's really all we're going to use today is just ChatGPT and the meta editor in MT4, and we're going to go ahead and create and show you how to do this. So one other thing I wanted to show you guys. So when you're creating a trading bot, it's nice to have some rules. So I actually asked ChatGPT, I was like, what would you like us to ask you when we're building a trading bot? And it's like, glad you asked. These are the things I wish people would ask me. So these are the things like a trading robot would be looking for. It's like it needs to know what you're trading. You know, are you trading stocks, forex, crypto? What kind of bot is this? You need to be able to tell it kind of like a timing expectation, what time frames you're going to trade on mainly. Very important. You got to go over risk management. You're gonna have to teach it the type of risk management that you want it to employ. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. And then obviously your trade logic. So that's like your execution. Like when do you get into a trade? When do you get out of a trade and stuff like that. So, um, and then you're going to have to teach it whatever technical indicate. Like if you're using some technical indicators, you have to teach it that. And then there's some other things, but really those first 3 points on here are the most important. And then as you go along, you're going to be able to teach it other things that will be more helpful with that bot. By the way, I kind of skipped ahead on this one part. Why would we even use a trading robot to begin with? Like, what's the use of a trading robot? Here's kind of what this is something that I've kind of realized over time as I've traded. Um, and don't get me wrong, like I've done really well trading on my own. The thing that's challenging, I think, for me, and I think this is the same challenge for a lot of other traders, is there's like life happens. We're all human, right? Like we have things that come up. And so like if you have to trade on a schedule, like if your trading system requires you to trade all day, every day, that might be inconvenient for you, especially if you're not available. Maybe you have a trade that you take during the Tokyo session during the evening, which is sometimes we do that. The problem is that, if you've got a kid's soccer game and that's in the middle of the evening and it's tough to be able to go into the markets and take those trades, especially when you're trying to have freedom. And the whole point of trading is so that we can all have more freedom in our life, right? And so what's nice is if we can use technology to our advantage, um, it's definitely where you want to be, and it's a huge blessing. So I think it should be everybody's goal at some point to be able to turn their trading methodology into a software or some kind of trading logic that could be executed without them even being there. It is a little bit tough to get to that point because technology can misfire, technology can go down, and sometimes it can misbehave. But I will tell you this, there's a lot of things, especially nowadays, that didn't even exist 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that can safeguard your capital if it's programmed correctly. And if there's a lot of safeguards you can put in. Like, for example, with all my robots that I make, I always employ a firewall logic. So basically, this is just to protect you in case, like, a trading, like let's say things go the wrong way, the market goes crazy, and the robot is misfiring for some reason. There are safeguards and firewalls that you can put in place in the code to basically halt trading if things go, you know, beyond a certain point. So I've programmed that into and I'll show you some of the things that I've programmed, which is really nice. So, by the way, I'm not a programmer. I don't know how to program. I know my way around the code a little bit, but I basically let the AI do that all for me. So, guys, this is really simple. So we can start off by asking it just a simple question. We'll just ask it, "Are you familiar?" In fact, you can just use the dictate tool and it's easy. And I'll just ask it a question. So, are you familiar with how to build a robot in MetaTrader 4? And let's see what the AI has to say. It's probably going to just be like, yeah, what do you want to build? And so we'll go ahead and ask that question, and it's going to respond back to us. By the way, again, my computer's been slow today. I got a new computer, and so I'm hoping that this works out. This one's been very slow, so I'm hoping that today we can get that all set up and just run into some hiccups here. So, okay, it says yes, I can help you with that. So it can write which by the way, it's called an expert advisor. That's what an EA is called. That's what a trading robot is called. So when we go through the code and when we put the code into the MetaTrader, it goes in the file called expert advisors or EA. Okay. So, and you can see as I ask this question, it's already prompting things like a lot of you are familiar with the sequence multiplier, which we use with the overnight trading strategy. It's already familiar with that. Um, and it's asking questions like, how do you want me to do this? How do you want to manage the stop loss, the take profit? So it's awesome. And then, and it's even remembering something I did a few minutes ago before I got on the call with you guys. So you can even just um, like if you have something in mind, you can just start teaching it right away. Now, this can get kind of confusing. So what I would recommend is that you go through this list that I provided, which by the way, you guys can have this. Let me copy this and give this to you guys. I would go through this list of everything in here, and then I would submit this to the AI with all your logic already built in. That way, it's easy for you and for the AI to interpret what you're trying to do. Because you can actually build a robot as simple as this. In fact, watch this. If I just, for some of you, this is old hat, but for some of you, you'll think this is crazy. Let's just do this. Let's just ask it to build one right now. So let's go ahead and ask it. All right, ChatGPT, would you go ahead and build us a scalp trading robot? Let's say something that's for the euro dollar on a 5 minute time frame, specifically for the New York trading session. Uh, Make sure you manage risk and have some kind of risk management logic. We're looking for big wins, small losses. We want to hold on to winning traders longer than our average losing trade. We want those to be smaller. Go ahead and just do your work, do something that you think will absolutely work really well. And something like that is honestly all you have to say for it to spit out a code. And I have no idea what this is going to do, but in just a moment here, it's going to start thinking and it's going to go ahead and spit out a code that we could actually use. Now, by the way, I don't recommend that you just do what I did. I'm just trying to illustrate how powerful this tool is because here it goes. It's already creating the code. Here's the code right here. And one other reason why I don't recommend this is because I have no idea what kind of bot this is. Like, I don't know its logic. So, my suggestion is that you should build a robot that you already are familiar with, like a strategy that you already trade, and bring that to the table. Because, I mean, for me personally, I just don't like to trust something that I have no idea what's behind this code. But I just wanted to show you, look, this would take a developer like 5 years ago. This would take a developer all day long to develop this, right? And look how fast this is just pumping out code for us, right? And we can use this code. So look how fast that is. So, and then it gives you a summary. It's like saying this is what it does. In fact, this is it tells you like, okay, I'm not surprised by the way that it's using an EMA. So a lot of robots will build like it's really easy based off of it's easy to build a robot based off of some technical indicator like an EMA crossover or an SMA crossover, MACD, something, RSI. It's easy to use those traditional indicators. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I'm not surprised that the EA wanted or the AI wanted to create an expert advisor using this. So, and yeah, it's just telling you what it's done. So you could actually, so let's actually do this. Let's go ahead and take this code and plug it in. And I'm not going to say that we should use this, but let's just show you the process of what it's like to plug this in now. So, and then we'll go ahead and maybe make a better bot, or I'll even show you the bots that I've got and I'll show you, like the overnight trading. By the way, one other recommendation, I forgot to mention this part. ChatGPT has this cool thing over here where you can create a project. You can see some of my projects over here. So these are all my chats from the past. Some of these are personal things. Some of them are more based off of um, like work things and things that I've done that way. But up here are my projects. It's nice to have a project where you can go back and look at stuff. Like right here, if I click on this project, this will take me to the overnight trading code. This is actually the overnight trading bot right here. So this is all the code, the lines of code. And this trades our overnight trading strategy that all of you are familiar with, right? And it's pretty long. It's like 500 words of code, and it's even more than just the overnight strategy. I've built in like that firewall stuff I was telling you about so that it doesn't ever lose more than a certain threshold. Like you can, there's even a prop firm mode, which is kind of cool. Like there's literally a mode you can click on that takes you, that's like, do you want this suited for this prop firm or do you want it suited for personal trading? It is super customizable. It's insane. So I recommend that you start a project. So the way to start a project is you just come over here and you can type in what the project's called. The reason why you're going to want a project in ChatGPT is because you're going to be coming back multiple times and you're going to be changing this code over and over and over again. Eventually, you're going to get something that I would say works pretty well. Like I think I only had to change my code up, and a lot of it was very minor. Like the robot was already working just fine. It's just like little minor adjustments where I'm just like, hey, I want this little feature. And I think I probably did like 20 different variations, 15 to 20 different variations until I felt pretty comfortable with it on the overnight strategy. Um, so yeah, it's pretty easy that way. But then from there, it's just little tweaks from there. Um, but I've been very happy with this because I used to build robots with ChatGPT like a year and a half ago and it wasn't that good. It has gotten so much better. Like so much better. I feel like this is what you should be using an AI for, is this type of stuff. Okay, so let's go back to the bot that we just made. This is that little scalp trading robot. We have no idea how this thing works. But anyway, let's go ahead and plug it in and just call it something. So here's how this works. I'm going to copy this code. Okay, little just copy button right there. Just copy the code. And I'm going to pull up MT4. Okay, so I got MT4 pulled up over here. And you're going to go up to tools. And then you're going to need to go to the meta quotes language editor. And this is basically where you can input your code. And it pulled it up on my other screen. Let me go ahead and pull this back over here. And we're going to need to make a new, this is something I was working on earlier. So we're going to need to make another, we need a brand new sheet. And so we're going to hit new, and it's going to pull up um, MQL. This gives us different options. Do you want this to be an expert advisor template, a script? Usually that's an indicator, um, or like whatever, whatever this is going to be. We're going to go with expert advisor. I'm going to click next, and then we're going to call this, let's just call this the New York scalp trading bot, ChatGPT. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and hit next, and then finish. And then I actually delete all this code right here. That's what I've done in the past. I just delete everything. And then I just control V and paste everything that came from ChatGPT. So over here, this code that we grabbed, we just grab that. And then we go back to the meta editor right here, paste it in. It's 432 lines of code. Again, we have no idea how this thing works other than it's some kind of EMA crossover bot. And then we would go ahead, and what I do is I then go to file, I hit compile. So you have to compile it. Now, here's the problem. Sometimes you're going to get these errors. Okay. This is unfortunately not going to work when you get these errors. So you have to fix these errors when you compile. Um, so what we're going to do, it's really easy to fix. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who code for a living or you're a lot more familiar with coding than me, um, you're going to think this is so silly, but this is how I fix it. I literally just take a screenshot of all these errors. So I'm just going to take my snipping tool and I'm going to just take a screenshot of this down here. This is, you guys can laugh, right? You can laugh. This is how people like me who don't know how to code fix things. So we're going to go back to ChatGPT and then I'm going to send it the screenshot and say, hey, buddy, we have some errors. Can you fix this? Always say please, by the way. You never know if these AIs can think. You don't want them to develop an opinion about you. So, can you fix this, please? Thank you. All right. You click enter, and then it's going to go ahead and read that. It's going to think. We're going to wait, and it might take a second because it's got to go figure out. It's like 8 errors that it found, and it's got to go fix all of those. ChatGPT is the modern day version of Smart House on Disney 20 years ago. Okay, good catch. Those errors are on me. They came from these three things. And so it's recognized what it did wrong. It's not silly. It's what some smart. That's what I would do too. Yeah, totally. Okay, so it's just rewriting the code for us now. And once it's done writing, we're going to be patient with it. I'm totally happy being patient with it because I don't know how to write all this stuff. It's got like 413 lines of code to write, so we'll give it some time. So this is why I say sometimes you have to go back to your project. That's why it's nice to have a project with ChatGPT so that you can go back and figure out, like, hey, um, and plus you can go back and see different variations of your robot. It's all stored there, which is nice.
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve's scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code YouTube50, that's YouTube50, no spaces at checkout, and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
So it's not, that's why I say it's not as simple as just like asking it to do something one time and you're done. Sometimes you're going to have to go back, fix errors, and it's simple though to do it as long as you got ChatGPT open, which, okay, now it's just finished. So by the way, we're going to go ahead and copy this code. We're going to go back to the editor. And then what I do is I'm going to control A and that will select everything and I'm going to delete everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and click control V because that's the new code. It's got 419 lines of code now. Now we're going to try to compile again. And sometimes it still may still have problems, but let's see if it's better this time. Yay, no errors. So we have no errors. It does have one warning, but I'm not worried about that right now, especially since this is not a bot we're really invested in. So no errors now. And so that fixes it. So it's been compiled. And then you can go ahead and save as, or just say, I think we already saved as. So this should be in the, yep, there it is right there. New York scalp trading ChatGPT bot. Yep, that's fine. And now here's what we got to do. And maybe some of you who know how to use MT4 better. So now we got to go pull up this trading robot so we can use it. Okay. Um, so the way I do this, and again, this may not be the right way to do it, but I have to close everything. So I'm going to go ahead and close the meta editor and I'm going to close uh, MT4 because I need to get it refreshed so it can see the file that we just put together. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it up again. So I'm going to load up MetaTrader. Okay. And now you'll notice over here in my navigator, it says under expert advisors, there's 3 experts already in here from like previous bots that I put together. And then right here, I've got the New York scalp trading bot ChatGPT. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now, I remember in the code, we told this to set it up for the euro dollar. So I'm going to pull up the euro dollar chart and let's do this on a 5-minute chart just because we told it to do it on a 5-minute chart. Now, here's how you set up the bot. So you basically grab the code, or not the code, you grab the bot, you just click on it and you drag it over and drop it in your chart. And it'll say New York scalp trading bot ChatGPT, just like the one we just made. And then you're going to want to allow live trading. You're going to go to inputs. And then right here, let's make this bigger so everybody can see this. Again, we didn't ask it to do anything in particular other than just be a scalp trading robot that could be traded during the New York session. And so these are the different things that you can change, right? So these are variables that ChatGPT deemed necessary and useful to you and me, so that we could go ahead and change up risk management, change up where things are, just settings and stuff like that. So let's see if we can recognize some of this. So it looks like it's got starting time at server hour 1300, which must be the New York Open. We could verify that if we wanted to. It looks like it closes at hour 2059. So it looks like just before or an hour before the New York close. Um, Looks like it's a trend trading robot. And let's see, I don't know what this is right here. We're going to leave that alone. Here's risk. Um, it looks like it takes a risk percentage per trade. And right now it's set to 0.25. So it's risking a quarter of 1% per trade. And I mean, you could change that. And by the way, to change that, all you'd have to do is just say like 1.0 and would risk 1% per trade. And then if you wanted to risk just back to, a half of a percent or something, you could just change it to 0.5. And that's appears to be equity based. And it tells you right there what type of risk management that is. Some of the stuff I'm like I don't even know what it is. Like ChatGPT has a mind of its own sometimes. And so that's why I recommend that when you build a bot, try to build one that you're in tune with so that you're in tune with the AI as well. So if the AI gets it wrong, you can be like, hey, that's not exactly what I had in mind. Could you go back and do the code differently? I'm not sure what this variable is. And then you can go get it to change it, which is really, and it's more than happy to. Um, um, you know how like Chick-fil-A, they're like, my pleasure. That's kind of how ChatGPT is. I feel like it's like, wow, you're a little more nice than usual. I'm not sure what's your deal over there. I don't know. Sometimes it feels that way. Okay, so it has this thing about taking partial profits at 2RR. So that's an interesting thing that it decided to make. This is just something it decided to put together. Um, It looks like it has some kind of break even logic to it. Not sure what that is. Slippage. Okay. So basically, right here, it's set at 2 pips. Basically, that's just saying if the slippage is higher than 2 pips, like if it's trading during news, it will actually stop trading. So this is really nice. I feel like every ChatGPT robot I've made has a slippage filter. So basically, it will not take a trade, which is kind of nice in case you catch a trade during bad news that's not working very well. Restrict to one position a day. Let's turn that to false. Let's see if it can take more trades. So you can change it. Sometimes it gives you like this true false. Long plus short same day. Um, I'm going to turn that to true. I don't care if it wants to go long or short. That's fine. Flatten at session end. Yes, so that will close all trades at the end of the day. And then it's technically ready to go. So now what you would do is you click OK once you got through the variables and you click OK. Now you'll notice up here, the bot is up here in the top right corner and it's got the name of the bot and it's got a little frowny face. When it's got a frowny face, that means it's not active yet. And the reason why it's not active is because we have to turn on a button. And you guys all know what that button is if you've used trading robots before. It's this guy up here. So if you have ever wondered what auto trading is just it's the button that if you click that, any bot that you have or algorithm that you've got loaded up onto your chart will automatically start to trade. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and boom, auto trading is turned on. And so that or frowny face turned into a smiley face now. So it's smiling. Auto trading is on. And so now this bot is active. Like it's already ready to take trades. It will start taking trades as long as I leave this on, the computer on, and as long as the internet is uninterrupted, it'll keep going. Which, by the way, that's another thing. You may want to get a VPS, which is super easy, by the way. All you have to do to get a VPS on MT4 is you just right click on the account and you can register a virtual server. It takes 2 minutes. Basically, what this does is it makes it so that if your internet goes out or the power goes out, your robot will stay on no matter what, which is super nice. It costs $15 a month though. And it goes to MetaQuotes. So just the owners of MT4 and MT5. But guys, that's pretty cool. You can pat yourself on the back. Like that is a trading robot and it's ready to go. Again, I have no idea if it works. You may want to go into the strategy tester to test it out, which is actually pretty easy. You can actually test out the robot um, right here under view. Then you pull up the strategy tester. And in the strategy tester in MT4, you can test out to see if this robot works. So you change it to the New York trading bot ChatGPT right there. And then you'd put in the symbol and um, which will do the euro dollar. And then you could select the dates you wanted to test, and then you could change the expert properties right here. So you could go into inputs and change anything up in there that you wanted to change. And then you could click OK, and then you could test it out. We don't have time to do that right now, unfortunately. We can do another webinar where we test some robots out, but the strategy tester is cool because you can test things, which is kind of nice. I will say that the strategy tester is not always accurate. So the best testing that you'll ever do with a robot, in my experience, is through forward testing in a demo account. So you're gonna want to, as you get a robot or a software, like tonight. In fact, I challenge a lot of you guys, especially if you're not somebody who knows how to code, or if you're somebody who's like, I could never see myself doing that. Like, do something hard tonight. Like, try that out. As you can see, we did that in like 15 minutes. We built a software in 15 minutes that's now tradable, and that you can start using right away, which is kind of cool. Um, Yeah, do something hard. I think that's pretty cool. If it's intimidating to you, give it a try. For some of you, you're like, dude, that was like the easiest thing ever. But for me, like that's not something I grew up with. Like I've never known how to do that kind of thing. And it's super, super easy and it's made it accessible. So if you've got like a great strategy or a great system that you want to try, it's super easy to do that. Let me show you guys. I wanted to show you one last thing. And we'll keep the class kind of short tonight unless we have other things you guys want to talk about. Um, and let me know if you want me to review any of these other steps. But basically, the steps are you got to build out your system in ChatGPT so it knows what to build. Then you take the code into the editor, you compile it, you save it, you reopen and close MetaTrader again. You come back in, you plug in the robot, change up the settings, turn on the auto trader, and you're good to go. So this, by the way, so this robot, I might even leave it on just for fun. This will start taking trades tonight, or not tonight in the morning, because again, it was a New York trading scalping bot. So we could find out. We could just find out in a week to see if it made money or not, just for fun. Anyway, let me show you guys my bot. So I have a couple of bots that I've put together. This is the overnight trading bot over here. And so again, I've kept some projects. I've got projects for the Tokyo bot, one for this is the New York one. And here's the London one right here. Um, this is the London bot. This is the code. I believe this is the code. Yep, this is the code. Oh, actually, I think. No, these are some patches that I had to put together for it. Let me go back and see. I've got this is the Tokyo one. We'll just use the New York one because I'm kind of mixed up in my organization right now. So this is one. Basically, what this will do, what this bot will do is it'll take trades with the USD CAD at the open of New York, and it basically uses the same overnight trading logic as the overnight trading strategy, but it's only for the New York session. So it'll basically put a buy stop and a sell stop order that brackets around the New York Open, and then it has a way to add to winning trades at a fixed level. And then it also uses the sequence multiplier logic. So if it has a losing day, it knows how to increase the risk based off of a stepped sequence, which is super nice, in addition to the fact that it adds to winning trades. So it's super potent, it's super powerful, it's awesome stuff. And I'll just show you real quick. So we can copy this code, and then it's super easy. Like I said, you just copy the code, you go back to the editor over here. I may even have it in here. Yeah, see, there's a New York bot right there. Yep, New York bot. In fact, it's already in here. I don't think I need to put it in again. Yep, there's the New York bot code. And then if I go back to MetaTrader, um, yeah, New York trading bot. So I could switch this. So I can pull up the USD CAD and then I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to New York trading bot. Yep. And then this has all of the different inputs that I've decided to put into it. So it knows when to trade, like it knows to start on Monday, close on Friday, which is what you have to with the New York session. That's when it's open. So of course, that's why we do it. Trades the USD CAD specifically. Currently, it has a box range of 30 pips. So if you guys trade the New York breakout, like you trade the overnight strategy, what this does is it puts a buy stop 15 pips above the current price at the open, and it puts a sell stop 15 pips below the current price at the open. And then it knows to make the center of the market at the open, the midpoint. So it knows that. This right here, this variable is basically so that um, you guys remember how, like, if you have a US based broker, you can't hedge, right? And so this knows to separate the stop loss so that the stop loss does not completely overlap the opposing order. So if you got a buy stop order, your stop loss is, 30 pips away, but you don't want it to overlap the sell stop order to avoid hedging, right? So these are all like little things, like that's a patch I had to put together. Like I had to remember that rule and then ask the AI to build that out. And it's simple. Like you just have to teach it really well. If you're a good communicator and you communicate it correctly, sometimes it might be worth. You guys saw me. I used my microphone to talk to the AI. It might be better sometimes to type it out, or just redictate your response, because whatever you give it is what it runs with, right? And so if you give it as much detailed information, it will review every single word that you give it. And the more and better information that you can give the AI, the better the robot it will be. Like the better the information it will be able to use in order to make your bot better. So, okay, what else is in here? So, this is cool right here. This is the risk management behind it. So, it starts at 0.25% risk, as you guys know, uses a 1 to 5 RR, although that can be changed. It's customizable. Max slippage. So, if the slippage is over 1 pip, it will halt trading, which is kind of nice. Uses a sequence multiplier. Here's the 1.5 multiplier. Again, that's customizable. You can change that to whatever multiplier you want. So basically, for those of you that don't know how the overnight trading strategies work, what happens is it's all done in a sequence. And so if a trade does not close out profitably, like let's say you have a losing day, you got to get that money back, right? And so it knows if you had a losing day, it remembers that, and then it knows to take the trade the next day and set up another breakout, but this time with a slightly larger position size. And in addition to the fact that we're adding to winning trades, which is super awesome. It knows to reset after a win. It has a cap of 6 days, so it will not go past 6 days unless you customize that to, you could change that to 3 days. You could change that to, 10 days, whatever you want. I do 6 days. Um, this is the pyramiding part, and it calls it pyramiding. I don't think I called it that. It just decided to call it pyramiding. But basically, what it does is it adds to winners at a specified sequence. So every 25 pips, up to 2 extra trades in that direction. If we happen to capture a morning where the USD CAD just takes off, one of those just crazy mornings, which does happen, a couple times a month, we want to make sure we make as much money on those days as possible. And so this is adding to those winning trades, with this right here, which is super cool. Um, this is the firewall that I was telling you guys about. So this logic basically says, um, this is what's called the equity guard. So you can turn this on and off. Um, so I'm going to turn this to true. And basically, you can change the equity floor. So, and this is called, see, equity floor and account currency. So, by the way, you might be wondering, like, why am I showing you all this? By the way, this is for you guys so that when you build your bots, in fact, take a screenshot if you want. Take a screenshot of my, or this is recorded, you can come back later. The reason why I'm showing you this, for anybody that's like, what are you doing? The reason why I'm showing you this is so that this is the kind of stuff that AI thinks about. This is the kind of stuff that of variables, control panels that because you're basically building a control panel for yourself, like how it manages risk, when it takes profit, when it gets out for a loss. You want some of those controls. And so you want some of that customizable when it's time to actually set up the bot. And so you're going to want to have these types of controls when it's time to, trade, right? And the sky's the limit. You can technically control any button you want to control. Like if you want, in fact, one of the things it can do is it can even build a dashboard on your chart, which is super cool. So whatever you can think of is possible. You just have to be able to communicate that and it will build it for you. Um, so right here, this is basically saying if this variable, let's say this is a 100K account. Let's say you don't want to go below $90,000. So you could type in 90,000. And so if the account were to go below 90,000 or hit 90,000, this is the rule that trumps all rules. It's saying, hey, if the account goes down below, a 10% drawdown, it will halt trading altogether. So you can change that to whatever you want. You can change that to 95,000, you can change it to 80,000, whatever you want it to be, which is kind of nice. And that way, if things go crazy, you can only lose so much because you've got that built in. And I build this in, by the way, with every single software that I use. I need that. I don't want to wake up some morning with something crazy and then realize that I lost everything. So I want to make sure that there are safeguards built in so that, if things do go wrong, they can only go wrong so far, right? Um, so anyway, so it right here says close your open positions on breach. So basically, if this happens, then it closes trades, delete pending orders, remain halted until user resets. These are, by the way, if you're everybody should have this type of logic built into your robot. A lot of people don't think about having this because they think that'll never happen. Have it anyways. It probably you may hopefully you never need this kind of stuff, but it's just a good consideration to build this kind of stuff in. So, housekeeping. So magic number. This has been explained to me so many times, but the magic number is basically how the bot distinguishes between different pairs as an example. So if you have the bot trading on, the euro dollar, the USD CAD, the pound yen, the magic number helps distinguish between those. And so that's all that's for. So like you couldn't use this number on the euro dollar because it's already being occupied by the USD CAD. So that's the whole point behind a magic number anyway. So if you're ever wondering what that is, that's what it is. That's at least one of the uses behind it. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So like I could go ahead and plug this in and I'd click OK. And auto trading is already on. You could turn it off and on again if you want to. And this is ready to go. Like this could go ahead and start taking trades with the USD CAD, taking breakout positions at the New York Open in the morning, which is super cool. So anyway, not too hard to do. Any questions on this? I see some questions coming in. Go ahead and get me your questions in, and we'll answer those and we'll wrap up. Lee says, "How long did you test in paper money account before using with real money?" Okay, that's a great question. So with these overnight trading robots, what I have been doing, and this is what I suggest, um, you want to make sure that you can close out a sequence perfectly several times in a row. That's how I would determine if the bot is ready to go. So if it's making mistakes with the risk management, or if it's making mistakes with the placement of the buy and sell stops, or if it's making mistakes with the take profit, that resets the clock. So basically, what I would suggest is I want to see your bot. If you build a bot on your own, my suggestion is that it needs to perfectly handle whatever it's supposed to do, um, like with the overnight trading as an example, if it can close out 3 or 4 sequences without any errors whatsoever, then to me, that would be time to put that with real money. And the way I would suggest that you start trading with real money is start small. Put in $1,000, a couple $1,000 into a trading account, something small like that. Don't go out and put the 10, 20, $50,000 behind a bot or 100 grand on a bot until you've got like ironclad understanding and belief in your bot. You're going to want to have things like you don't want to just, you're going to want a VPS if you're going to go with that much money. I'm doing that with mine, especially because I'm planning on opening up copy traders with all these different systems soon. And I want to make sure it's incredibly reliable. And so I'm just doing everything I can to make it more and more reliable. But yeah, that's a great question. I would just say whatever it's designed to do, have it do that thing 5 to 10 times. And if it does it without any mistakes whatsoever, I think you're ready to start with a small amount of live money. At least that's my pain tolerance. Daniel says, "Do you recommend MT4 or MT5?" It's up to you. I've always used MT4 just because that's what I'm used to. MT5 is probably a more advanced platform. Um, it's funny. I used to hate MT4. And by the way, if you're going to chart on MT4, that's terrible. Like the charting tools available on MT4 are useless. MT4 is really just so that you can run trading robots. That's all it's for. So don't get the idea that you're going to look in here and analyze the charts. Now that I have this like understanding that MT4 was really just designed to build algorithms and trading robots, now it's like, okay, it's not so bad anymore. not so bad. Great question. Daniel says one thing to keep in mind is ChatGPT only shares files between chats and project. Chats don't share information unless it's summarized into a file saved in the project. That's a great recommendation. So yeah, when you're over here designing your bot, make sure that well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just when you and in fact that's actually kind of nice, Daniel, because um when you're coding something over here, you kind of don't want it to communicate with other influences. You want it to be just the influences from that project. So I kind of think that's nice actually. Lee says in the mid 80s, I was programming in DBase to score some reports for my office. Took me months to perfect it. Yeah, no, the times are so different now. Crazy, right? I remember one time, um, I had this computer. It was a DOS computer. Okay. My dad gave it to me and it didn't even have a mouse. It was just keyboard. And all I could do with this, oh, my dad gave me this booklet and it was the code for like, I don't know, three dozen different games that you could code into the computer. So if you were to copy by hand, just put the book in front of you and the keyboard in front of you as well, and just copy exactly the code, you could build a game. Now the problem was if you made one error even at all, and sometimes it would be like several pages, lines of code that you'd have to copy. And I was doing this as a kid, and I'd if you made one error, you'd have to go find where that error is. It was so crazy. One time I forgot one time I forgot to save it one time, and it's not like things nowadays where everything's on the cloud, and I forgot to save and it deleted my code, and so I had to go back and rewrite it. It was not a fun day, but now yeah, times are very different, that's for sure. Okay, any other questions, guys? Yeah, AI is taking everything over. Yeah, well, let's see if we can use it to our advantage. Absolutely. And it's cool because anybody can use this. I've kind of learned that the AI is not very accurate sometimes with like historical events and getting dates right. Sometimes I've noticed it's mixed those things up. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to productivity, I think the AI is like one of the greatest tools ever. So, all right, cool guys. Well, I think that's about it. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Good luck. Give this a try. Maybe go ahead and build your own bot tonight if you're feeling up to it. And by the way, here's the thing, the guideline again, use this guideline right here when you build out your code. Tell the AI what you want it to do and watch it do it. So it's gonna be awesome. All right, guys, good luck. Thank you for coming. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys in the next webinar.